Welcome to Mental Mayhem. Today, we're cracking open the world of mental health through fictional characters. First up, let's talk about chaos theory. The Mad Hatter embodies anxiety, always on edge and unsure of what's coming next. Now, for depression. Darth Vader represents the darkness that can consume us when we lose touch with our inner strength. Next, let's look at bipolar disorder, the ever-changing mood swings represented by the unpredictable Joker. Now, for anxiety disorders, Winnie the Pooh shows us how overwhelming thoughts can get when we're feeling stuck. Moving on, let's talk about social anxiety. The Grinch represents the fear of being judged and rejected by others. Next up, for self-acceptance, Shrek shows us that being different isn't something to hide, but rather something to be proud of. Now, for OCD, Marty McFly represents the frustrating experience of feeling trapped in a cycle we can't escape. Moving on, let's discuss addiction. Gollum shows us how easy it is to get caught up in unhealthy obsessions. Next up, for depression and low self-esteem, Eeyore represents the feeling of being weighed down by our own negative thoughts. Now, for dissociation, the Cheshire Cat shows us how easy it is to disengage from reality when we feel overwhelmed. Moving on, let's talk about PTSD. R2-D2 represents the feeling of being trapped and helpless. Next up, for trauma, Hansel and Gretel show us how even small steps can feel like giant leaps when we're facing our fears. Now, for social anxiety, the Cowardly Lion represents the fear of being judged and rejected by others. Moving on, let's discuss grief. Romeo shows us how even small losses can feel like devastating blows to our hearts. Next up, for self-care and self-love. The Velveteen Rabbit represents the importance of cherishing our own worth and love. Now, for anxiety disorders, the White Witch shows us how fear can turn into ice if we let it consume us.